starting lower and then practicing those movements. If they're comfortable with it, a lot of times that's something that's very intimidating for them. And I just
But
love seeing how happy they get when they like find out that they actually can do it. Like I
yeah.
used to do boot camp, which, you get general pop, you get everybody.
Mhm.
And I would always put the gigantic tire in for the class. And people would be like, I can't flip that tire. And I was like, I bet you can. We're gonna
Yeah.
try today. And then they do it and they're like, wow, like I didn't think I could flip a tire. That's crazy. And I was like, don't underestimate yourself. And then, you get to show people that they're capable of a lot more than they thought.
What's up, y'all? We're back with another LT360 podcast, another awesome guest on the show, someone that is a fellow laser, someone that was one of my classmates, someone that really helped me actually get through college. We definitely went back and forth. We were there for each other a lot through school, for both getting work done and just outside of work. We did a number of placements together for our athletic training hours. So we have quite a good history and friendship from all of that. And now she's a fellow Fit Pro and she's up in Massachusetts. We still stay in contact and always trying to bounce ideas off of each other. And she is now also one of the co-founders of Dirty Water Fitness. So that's new and exciting. We'll talk about that with her. Sara Ennis, or otherwise known as Krennis.
And it's
To
Coach.
Justin and I, yeah. Coach Krennis. So you were talking about off the jump, you like to take Sundays to just be your own. Do you think that plays a big role in kind of why there's so much turnover in the industry? Because
Definitely.
people just like they drive themselves into the ground, kind of,
Oh
right?
my gosh, yes. That was actually one of the things I used to work at a commercial gym that they said to me in the interview. Like, here's how we structure everything, going through like pay structure and how it works, make your own schedule. And they push this whole like, gather your clients up. Once you have a good client base, you could take 3-day weekend like every week and blah, blah. And then they say, but you just want to make sure that you don't burn yourself out. And then, you go into it, you realize the only way for me to have a good business is that I need to be here morning, middle day, and night. And you stretch yourself out over about 14 hours a day. Then you have people asking you for Saturdays and Sundays, and you just want to help people. And so you take it, and then all of a sudden you're like exhausted and you just can't do it anymore. So I definitely, and I used to even come in on my off days to work out myself because that was my gym membership. So there's really no break in the chaos. So
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think that's a big misconception is like we have to work out where we work. So like imagine if like you got off of work and went to work to enjoy yourself. It's like,
it's
wait, hold on. That's why I like to, as much as I can on the weekends, I'm like, I need to get outside and just do something, work out outside, go for a bike ride, rollerblade, go to the park, play basketball, do something that's like not a structured circuit training workout in a gym because it just drives me crazy to be inside for that long.
yeah, there's a
But
point
you're
where
not.
you and I were actually doing guest passes at random gyms every Sunday just to go somewhere else.
You're
Drop
those
40
people.
bucks on Lifetime Fitness and
Yeah.
just to like have somewhere else to go.
I made four email accounts last week just to get back into the same gym. I used to do that a lot when I was in high school. And now as the manager of a gym, you hate that shit. I'm like, oh my God, this
Karma.
person, this is their third free trial class. This doesn't make any sense. It's funny how the tables turn. Um, when you were, talking about working in commercial gyms, because that's where most of your like initial out of school work was done. What was like, what was the biggest thing that they basically blindsided you with?
It's got to be the same thing I was just saying is like make your own hours. Like it's
Mm.
going to be awesome. But then, you block off some availability like for 4 hours on a Thursday morning. And they're like, what's that all about? You need to open that up. Like there could be someone there. And then you have your floor hours and they say like, oh, here's your floor hours. Well, like for now, I want you to keep all your clients in your floor hours so that you don't get overworked. And then eventually you get to a point where they start to taper down your floor hours because you're building business. And what they
Mm-hmm.
do is they say, we'll take you from 15 hours a week to 10 hours a week. And then they stick those hours in the only spot that you're not there.
Mm.
So now all of a sudden you're working all day, every day, and you have to be there for the floor hours, but then you have to, your clients, you don't have enough time to go home. And it's like you thought you had all this freedom, but all
Uh-huh.
of a sudden you're locked in at the gym all day, which is not the worst thing in the world to be working at a
In
gym
a
and spending
gym.
your time at a gym because obviously I like that environment,
Yeah.
but it does get, a little
It's
bit much.
tiresome either way. Yeah, it is tiresome. And we naturally, we just need to like step out of four walls and explore and see something else in order to be kind of excited to be there still.
Exactly.
So what even, I mean, I feel like me and you were so on par all throughout school of like, what is the point of athletic training? Why is it so lowballed in terms of how much money is in the industry? And then like why isn't most of the industry even in shape themselves? There's like a big problem with that. Um, and then, I mean, there's just so many things we could talk about in terms of that. I think uh, I want to ask you this though. What drove you initially to get? How did you even end up in the athletic training program at LaSalle? Because you obviously had a little bit of a sports background, but what was like the mindset of okay, athletic training?
Yeah, to be honest, like there wasn't really any reason I initially got into it. It was other than coming from an athletic background.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, basically I was like this unmotivated high school student who really didn't even want to go to college. But my mom was like, yeah, it's not happening. Here's a list of schools. We're going to go tour them like next weekend. This is the date and time. And like, so we just, we went. And then, so I got to the point where I was looking through lists of programs and that just seemed like the most appealing thing to me.
Mm,
Freshman year, we just do our, you know, core classes. You go
yeah,
through the basics. So it's not really anything crazy. And then sophomore year, you just hit the ground running. It's just, you don't stop until, until you're done.
it's
And
pro
so
you.
once I was already in there, like I do enjoy athletic training, even though I don't
Sure.
do it. It's honestly, it's a great thing to have as as a fitness professional. But you kind of get a preview of what you're in for when you do your clinicals. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, here's endless hours of work that you're not really going to get compensated for. Get
Mm,
used to it now because that's what it's like. And it sucks because you got people working so hard in this major.
yeah.
It's like it's not your typical, I don't want to like crap on other majors. So but
Yeah.
it's not your typical other major, like you're putting a lot of work, a lot of time and a lot of effort in. And
Hmm.
you come into the world at a pretty low salary.
Yeah. And then the only way to build upon that salary or get compensated more is to work for a higher organization in the sports world. And then with that comes almost like shackles. You cannot
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah. You
You
gotta really love it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and there's people who undoubtedly are willing to devote their life to that, but we're definitely, me and you are definitely a little more free spirited than that, and undoubtedly it was worth the degree, like 100%. We
Yeah.
walking into the fitness industry with the athletic training background is like it just there's a huge gap. There's such a big gap. So I know when I first moved down here, we talked a lot about that. You're like, oh my God, some of the things that these people are teaching these clients is so bad. And we just have like a really deep understanding of, kinesiological comprehension, biological understanding of what's going on. So it just definitely separates us a little bit. It's funny. I was talking to one of my coworkers the other day about Harvard,
About what?
about Harvard.
Oh, Harvard.
and
Good
and
times.
yeah, good times, really good times.
Lots of good friendships.
Yeah. So Sarah and I worked. We did a clinical rotation at Harvard for a semester. You worked mostly with the softball girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was mostly with the lacrosse team.
Men's lacrosse, right?
Yeah, men's lacrosse. And I was talking about how we used to kind of like get prepared to go in there sometimes, and how we had to like mentally, get ourselves in the right place, because that place was, it was a lot to handle for sure. And then we know how that ended. So, yeah. What What was your favorite clinical out of all of them? Because I think mine was still Brandeis.
I was gonna say yours is definitely Brandeis, right?
Yeah.
So the early years when you're in clinical, you're not really doing much, So there was great, like not that they weren't my favorite, I just wasn't doing much. So great people, just not very stimulating.
Interactive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brandeis was one of the ones that was my last clinical rotation. So I knew the most, I was trusted the most by the head ATCs, and I was able to kind of go off on my own sometimes, which was awesome. I'd say between that and working at LaSalle with you
True.
being my athlete was kind of fun. So I say it's a tie. LaSalle, Brandeis.
True. Um, yeah, Sarah was triaged my entire senior year when I broke my foot, and then used to religiously scrape my peroneals.
Yeah,
Every
maybe.
time my peroneals are tight, I think you still pop up in my head, because they're
Yeah,
still
they work
not
on
any
this
better.
more than they need to be worked on. Looking
Yeah.
back. And nothing
Yeah.
else to do, was like, let's do this. Let's see how much you can take.
It wasn't a lot.
We came up with some new things too, though. We'd try like random techniques that were just kind of off the top of the head.
Uh-huh.
You were a
Yeah.
good test subject for me.
We yeah, that was definitely a solid like 6 months of us literally together in class, then leave class and go to the athletic training room, and then go to practice, and you would be sitting there during practice, and you and Hillary, or you and Ari, and you and Chris, whatever it was, and I would be there because I was the only injured one.
It wasn't even just that though. It was junior spring semester at Harvard, senior fall semester, you were my athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And then senior spring semester, we were at Brandeis together. Like once you and I were together at Harvard, like there was no end to it.
Yeah, there was no disconnection from there.
And I think that was on purpose from our department heads too.
Probably.
Like, oh, you guys work well together, so I'm gonna put you at your clinical
True.
side.
True. And then I ended up, well, I left you a little early on the Brandeis, the last rotation.
Patriots.
But yeah, it was I think it was the biggest push to not be in the industry.
You got to see like the real
The
thing.
real deal, like, oh, this is the creme de la creme of athletic training. And it's funny now, because now Jason has opened and is running that Boston Sports Performance place with the one of the longtime athletic trainers from the Patriots.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I saw that and I was thinking like I got to reach out to him, figure out how he made this work, because like
their facility is insane.
it's like perfect for like people like us who want to be in fitness but still practice.
Exactly. Yep. Sports performance, personal training for not just athletes, but everyday people. Is huge. Yeah. I've talked to him a couple times. I think he got engaged. I think he's getting married.
Yeah, actually, I saw that too.
Yeah. So we'll have to. What do you say?
So I'm just creeping in the background. I haven't actually talked to him in a long
Yeah.
time. I feel like I still know what's going on.
Yeah. You're just eyes from afar. That's good.
I'll have to reach out.
Yeah, for sure. Him and why am I drawing a blank on her name? From Brandeis.
Oh,
Lisa. Lisa, right? Yeah. Okay.
Lisa.
That's bad. She was awesome.
She was.
Speaking of facilities though, Dirty Water Fitness. I want to hear more about this, where it's going, what your ideas are, because we talked about you opening a facility possibly like almost 10 months ago.
Yeah, it was just an idea back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it all kind of came from, as much as we, hate what COVID's doing right now, it actually created a lot of new beginnings for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially, the gyms all closed down and we had to kind of fend for ourselves for a little while. So that kind of brought me into the virtual training business, doing like video calls and stuff, which not preferred, but if you have
No,
to
it
make it
gets
work
the
for the
job
time.
done.
Exactly. So that kind of pulled me off on my own. And then I started to kind of build in that sense. I went back when the gym reopened for like a couple weeks. And then I thought, what am I doing here? You know, I could be making something so much better on my own. I know how to do it. I already started. And then so I left. And then since then, since July, we've been all just kind of working on our own, training people outside in parks, or traveling to their house if they have equipment in their homes, or doing virtual training like this.
Mm-hmm.
So myself and a couple colleagues, we've all kind of built up a client base as like self-employed trainers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all kind of got together and we're like, we're going to need a space. The winter's coming. We need to get inside. We need to do something quick. So we
True.
looked into a lot of retail space. At first, we were actually looking into like warehouse space and stuff like that, but that is just totally not doable. So we looked at retail space, and we found this place that used to be a laundromat, not a laundromat, a dry cleaners.
Okay.
So right now, it still has a bunch of equipment in it, and it's not official. We still need to sign the lease and do all that stuff, but hopefully, and actually, we've accumulated quite a bit of equipment as well, because the day that I heard that the gyms were shutting down, I ordered like a ton of stuff online. I got a
Smart.
barbell, a whole bunch of bumper plates. We have a couple sets of battle ropes and
Yeah.
strap bar, dumbbells, kettlebells, med balls, like everything. So we're already kind of going into that gym with like 2 or 3 rogue racks and barbells. And so like there's less expenses there because
Yeah,
we've
that's
taken
huge.
right? So now we just kind of have to focus on all the business licensing and all the stuff that we need to get done before we can actually open our doors,
Mm-hmm.
probably around January 1st if we're stay on track.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
coming up quick. That'll be cool. Less than 2 months, about 6 weeks. Where's it gonna be exactly?
It's going to be in Cambridge,
Mm-hmm.
um, around, I think it's East Cambridge. I'm not sure actually, but it's in Cambridge.
Yeah.
I don't actually have the exact address. Most of that stuff.
Yeah. But East Cambridge is good enough. At least anybody, in the area can go check it out and look into it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be like what, 4 of you said? Probably initially?
Yeah, and then with the opportunity to grow later, if we wanted to add anybody into it, and we were
Yeah.
tossing around the idea of like kind of renting the space out to trainers who are in need right now of a
Yeah.
space, in the same position as us, and they can just rent it out by the hour. Thought about even just letting people come and work out that we know if they could pay like a fixed rate. But the details still to come,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Do you have a do you know how many square feet it is?
I don't. I want to say it's around 1,000 though.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool.
just a single room,
Yeah,
enough to,
enough
yeah.
enough for a couple people to be training, and trainer, you need 3 or 4 trainers and 3 or 4 clients at the
I
same
think
time.
we did work out the numbers, like with the COVID restrictions, if they stay the same,
Mm-hmm.
we would need like 8 people for the amount of space that we have, which is 4 trainers and the
Cool.
clients. So,
Yeah, that's
and I
cool.
don't doubt that we'll all be there at the same time. So,
Yeah. So I was gonna say too, is it you guys would basically all just have a key to it and say like, all right, if I have a client, I'll be there. If I don't have a client, I'm out, kind of thing. And like obviously, if you're waiting a half hour or an hour in between, you might stick around, but no need to like have people there all day or like have someone sitting at the front desk doing this, that, and the next. There's no like overhead, paying for someone to do that. That's smart.
right. Yeah.
That
Just
makes it
us
easier.
4.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I think what we've seen on the fitness side and the business side is like you end up with 4 employees and you have to have someone there in the middle of the day and you're paying this and that and electric all day, and it gets to a point where it's like it's a headache. It's so not worth it. Um So that's cool. That's exciting. When you first left the gym, like a couple weeks after quarantine was over, were you like anxious? Were you like, oh God, like I don't want to leave. Like, do I do it? How was making that jump?
Big time. It was a lot of anxiety through like the whole thing because it's so like unsure. You don't really know what's gonna happen. But if we're being honest, that's kind of like the name of the game, anyways. Personal
100%.
training. You might be doing great in January. You might have like 2 clients in a day in August. Like
Yeah, yeah.
your income fluctuates, and that's just the way that it is. So I mean, I'd rather be doing it for myself and not for somebody who
Mm,
doesn't really care about my well-being. So um,
no, that's a good point.
it was, I just had to keep reminding myself that. But there's so many great like places that you can purchase leads and connect and use Facebook and all that. I even tried to get into the Instagram thing. Maybe I'll come back, but I haven't really been. Yeah, I just can't. I can't be on my phone that much. I don't have the attention span for it, but I do see the value in like marketing your business on Instagram. But
Yeah.
I just haven't
It,
posted.
no, you what you were doing was good. It's literally just a time game. It sucks. You literally just have to do it for a long period of time, be consistent with it. And it's really hard because I'm not a phone person and I would not be on it whatsoever if there was no business or self uh, branding, involved whatsoever. But it is what it is. And like you said, um, there's ups, there's downs, there's opportunity. Do you get a lot of referrals? Like, how did you initially build your clientele base? Was it all just through the gym, and then they were all just like, I like you, I'll follow you,
Yeah, there
or?
was networking done through the gym. A lot of people were uncomfortable being in a gym at this
Mm-hmm.
point. So they had, kind of canceled their memberships and they knew they weren't going to be going back there anytime soon. And then eventually kind of kept in touch with them. They reached out and we started doing, the ones that had the means to work out in their home, or even if they didn't. I grew as a trainer, figuring out how to make workouts that
Yes.
nobody has any equipment. But
Mm.
yeah, I also used bark.com a lot. You ever heard of
Mark?
that? Bark, yeah. So it's you people will put out a request for a personal trainer. They'll say their location and what they're trying to work on, what their availability is. But then the trainer side, you purchase a certain amount of credits, and then each lead is worth a certain amount of credits. So you can choose who you want to reach out to, and then they give you that contact info. There's a lot of non-responses. Like, I don't think a lot of people who post these
Yeah.
requests realize that the people who are contacting them are paying them, like paying to get this.
That makes sense.
Because from the other side of it, you just say like,
You're just like,
personal
oh, I
trainers
want
need
something.
me, and then all of a sudden it comes
Mm.
up. But yeah, you
Smart,
and
smart business on the side of Bark. It's kind of assholeish, but it's smart.
yeah, they did it right. And then there's like other trainer sites that I kind of played around with, but they're not really that
You should
reliable.
try findyourtrainer.com.
I'm on Find Your Trainer.
Yes. Okay.
I have gotten only like 1 or 2 people from there though, but I'm not very active on it, and I think I shot the price up just because I didn't want to get anything coming from there for a while.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And you can change your availability, but it's been really lucrative for some people I know down here. So,
Yeah.
and then even then, you get 2 or 3 new leads from there and clients, and all of a sudden one of them like loves you, and they're like, oh, you should train, my daughter, or you should train my husband or my uncle, and it just like, whoa, 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 now I got 4 new clients.
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing, an advantage of dating another personal trainer.
That
Sometimes his clients say like, my wife needs a trainer, and then he'll be like, I know a good trainer. And then so we have a couple people where like I train one person, he trains the other, and they're a couple.
Nice.
And it works
That's
out.
super
They
cool.
communicated, everybody's in the loop, and it works
Yep. How long have you guys been together now?
out. Over a year. It was a year last June. Met at the gym.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's
All
good.
is good.
Now we have
Um,
a dog. She's running around. You can probably hear her in the background.
yep.
Hoping to settle down soon.
Yeah. It's not bad. Um, it's not bad at all. But are you guys living on your own? Are you guys living with rents?
So
How's
we
that?
have a place in Malden now. It's a 4 bedroom and we share it with another couple. So friends that we already had going into it. But then each couple has their own bedroom and an office. So it kind of
Oh,
worked
that's
out
super
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah,
That worked out well in Malden.
Malden.
I
Don't know where Malden is.
don't think so.
It's right near Medford, Somerville.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know the rough area. Okay. Paints a little bit of a picture in my head. Yeah.
that's all you need to know. That
Yeah.
general
That
area.
general area. Try try Tri City, what would that be? I don't know.
I
Making up
don't
words.
know.
And in terms of what you've been doing on your own end from your fitness and health standpoint, what's been your major focus? I know you were like really focused on Olympic lifts for a while. What's going on that end?
Yeah, I mean, through college, I was honestly pretty inconsistent. And then when I got out and started doing my own thing, I started getting kind of super into strength training. Last, not this past one, the one before October, I got my USAW certification with actually 3 of the trainers that we're going to be opening a spot with. Um, and once I did that, I kind of started to get into those a little bit more. And it's honestly been a roller coaster because as much as we have our own expertise, I have been turning to a lot of other coaches. And Joe, he's been actually purchasing programs here and there, and then we do them. Have you ever heard of the 1 ton challenge?
1 ton challenge? No.
That was like pre-Olympic lift. It was like strength stuff, and it's like 6 of your main lifts. Actually, there's Olympic lifts in the 1 ton challenge. There's like 6 lifts, and then if you by the end of it for men, your total for your 1 rep maxes of all those lifts is a ton. And then for women, it was like a little bit less.
A little bit less, probably like 0.8 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we only gave it a couple months, and then sometimes we just look at programming, and then we put our own twist on it, and stay in touch with a lot of the Instagram coaches.
Yeah. I do a lot of that too. I mean, there's so much give and take. There's so much like the creativity and the room for imagination in the fitness world is infinite. But like, at what point do we just look like clowns, and at what point are we actually moving in the right direction of doing something productive and getting better?
Yeah, and sometimes it's good to you get bored of your own programming, and you want to
Yeah.
figure out
And
something new, and then you kind of take the stuff you liked, and you bring it and you adopt it into your own stuff, and then the stuff you didn't like, you don't have to use because your own thing.
no, 100%. And then there's the idea too that like we tell people what to do all day for a workout. It's like, can someone just tell me?
Yeah, tell me what to
I don't
do.
want to think.
Give me some accountability, please.
Someone like give me the special sauce. I don't want to have to come up with my own to make this happen. It's funny how that works. But oh, frog in my throat. I'm dead.
I certify, I got you.
Woo! All right. All right, Sarah, take the mic. I'm dying. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't know what you want me to say. I could give them a midnight over here.
Yeah, bring on the guest. Let's see the pup. Yeah,
Scratching.
come here, pup. That'd be hilarious.
Right now, usually she just lays, like when I do virtual stuff, she'll lay down and just be quiet, but
Today she's
not today.
not having it. Well, she's not used to you working on Sundays.
That's true. That's true.
That's gotta be it.
Saying, what the hell, mom? We gotta go for a walk.
Yeah. How
Hey,
long? How long have you had her?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa. And how old is she? Or like, obviously it's a rescue, so you're not ideally.
Yeah. Somewhere between a year and a half and 2 years. So she's still really,
Yeah.
but,
Old enough to be trained in some sense. You're not like, it's not taking care of a newborn puppy, but not old enough to like not be able to learn new things and get acquainted with you guys.
She's young enough to act like a puppy, but she's old enough to have bad habits. And she
Well,
has
I
a
guess there's two ways to look at it.
she's awesome. I mean, you know, it's like being a new mom. I feel like obviously I can't really speak to what it's like to be a
Yeah,
new
it's
mom,
like
but like
a new mom.
I have to be up at the same time every day. Like if I don't
Yeah.
have a client in the morning, too bad. Get up, let the dog out. And I
Mhm.
mean, I like the structure, but some people probably would think differently. But
Yeah.
she needs constant attention because she's trying to rip up my nice blanket over there right now. And but she's really good. She'll have her good days, she'll have her bad days. Sometimes she acts out, just needs to get rid of some energy. And then you think like, I'm doing everything wrong. And
Yeah.
the next day she learns a new trick and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you.
You
You
start to
think, I didn't
cry.
think you could do it. You did
Uh,
it.
and then, like you said, we were talking about before. Um, I mean, dog psychology is simple, but it can also be sporadic, I guess you could say, right?
Definitely, yeah.
If there's
There is, yeah. It's not always the same. Each dog is its own thing, but like there's certain things that are just like they work every single time.
true,
It's
so
crazy.
true. So the idea, guys, is
Much more
if you're a
complex.
personal trainer and you don't seem to get anything out of your clients, then you can just turn to dogs because you know what you'll get from them.
Backup plan.
Yep. Work in the system.
Or we do both. Actually, the plan is to have her come to Dirty Water Fitness and be
Yes.
behaved and not. She likes to chew on kettlebells right now. So we need to kick that habit. But one of the other trainers also has a dog. He actually is less than a year old. He's a Cane Corso, if you've ever heard of that breed.
A what?
Cane Corso.
No.
Huge dog. So he's like not even a year old and he's twice the size of her. And
Whoa.
he's still growing. But the idea was to have dogs there. So I was telling them the other day, I was like, we could just make it a dual thing. Like we'll train you, bring your dog, someone else will train your dog, get your dog trained and yourself at the same time.
Same time. That'd be awesome. You could buy the the space next to where you are and then just have another 1,000 feet on that side and hire people to
That'll be the dog space.
yeah. That'd be awesome. Doggy daycare and training while you get personally trained.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your clients in terms of nutrition? Are you helping them with that a lot? Do you do that as like a separate service? How does that work?
So as far as nutrition goes, I do my actually another service that I work through is True Coach,
Mm-hmm.
which just recently partnered with my Fitness Pal. So it's not like I don't do a lot of nutrition, but for my clients who I do programming for, where they just kind of go and do it on their own, or I have a couple of people who will meet with me one day a week, but then they get programming for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
They can enter their stuff into my Fitness Pal. It syncs right into True Coach. I give them their macro goals and just general goals. Like, for some people, they're more specific. For some people, they're more open. It just really depends on the person and what they're willing to do.
Cool.
And the nutrition is a lot of behavioral change more than, just trying to change habits and psychology, honestly.
It
So
is. It's so much more psychology. Yeah.
it's not like super extensive. Like I'm not a dietitian. I don't really have any certifications in nutrition, but of course we have that base knowledge because of the school that we have and, the certifications that you get also review that stuff. So it's more of like a nutritional guidance than a
Little
prescribed.
outline. Yeah. So they're getting some sort of directional, you know, hey, work this way, as opposed to just like,
Yeah,
yeah. Because they work so hand in hand. If I'm gonna work out, if I'm gonna break down the body, I need to repair it some way. But
exactly.
what do you say?
Wasting your time if you're not doing both.
Yeah, 100%. And then sleep, right? But um, in terms of uh, back to you personally, in terms of your, weekly, daily habits or things that you're like trying to check off the list every day, things that like are true and tried and true to your lifestyle. What are certain things you're working on or want to start to implement or things like that that you pay attention to?
I found myself with working out with a partner.
Mm,
Sometimes it could be hard to distinguish your separate goals. So I found myself doing a lot of heavy strength stuff for a long time and like realizing I need to rework in conditioning and like cardio and stuff like that into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'd say I'm still in the process of working on that, but so mostly just keeping up with Olympic lifts in a way where I'm just keeping the movement patterns in my workouts, but not necessarily working to strengthen them and get PRs with those lifts, but then dialing it back to the basics and keeping my compound, my heavy stuffs like squats, deadlifts, then following it with your basic accessory stuff and always finding some time for a little bit of a circuit or cardio, or some days if I just all I have in me is like 30 minutes of cardio, I'll do that. You
True.
know,
Yeah,
trying
I
to
get it.
create that habit again, because when you lose that, it's really hard
Yeah.
to want to do it again, because it's so
Yeah.
much easier to just train strong. Well, depending on the person and what your body type is, or like what you like enjoy to do.
Mhm.
But it
I
can
would
be
say for most people, though, it's easier to train from a strength perspective than it is a conditioning perspective.
it just you're doing a whole lot with your
Mhm.
strength stuff, but it feels less taxing. It's just
Yeah, your body is not put through the amount of fight or flight stress that it is during strength training.
you don't feel the exhaustion until like a couple hours later.
Yeah, yeah. Like I told you, I played basketball yesterday, and I was on a different level of tired. I played for 2 hours nonstop. We didn't even play full court. We played 4-on-4, but I probably played like 9 or 10 games to 12, and I was toasted. I was so tired because
Feels good to get back
I'm
into it
not.
though, right?
What'd you say?
It feels good to get back into it, right?
Yeah, I sweat so much. I was like, oh my goodness. And now I remember why I was like this in college because I was burning 3,500 calories every single day
Yeah,
easily just from practice.
it's a fun way to get your cardio in.
Yeah, the best, definitely
Acting.
still my favorite. I got into, like, I think I was telling you, I had gotten into jujitsu, and that was a whole different ball game.
You hurt
Uh,
yourself, right?
I, yeah,
Your rib.
uh,
I remember that.
yeah, it's still dislocated. My
It's
rib is
freaking good,
still
right?
not in place. Yeah,
Ouch.
and it's causing some other issues, obviously, because when you constantly have a rib out of place, you're constantly guarding. So, right lower back, left. I mean, it's all, yeah, it's all adding up. I'm trying to combat it day by day, but it's definitely a constant, like, have to pay attention to it. It's like forefront of my mind all the time.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's not fun. I wish, I don't know that it would be possible for someone to back in place.
Yeah. What do you
It,
mean?
it's not, I mean, it's a rib for one. So like if it's displaced in the facet joint on the backside, then where where am I going to go that I can
The
trust
other
someone to do that?
side.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh, it would have to get pulled out.
Which you're
Like
losing the leverage off of, and
exactly. So with that, and then also if someone says they can do it, am I trusting that person because it's my rib? So if it's not the right way, you're popping the balloon and your lungs, right there.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm just constantly toying with.
Yeah, I tried jujitsu one day myself, so I have an appreciation for the difficulty of that. It was one of Joe's clients. Actually, his client is dating a pro MMA
Cool.
fighter, and he and his like them two invited us to meet up at their gym.
Yeah.
And we did, I had absolutely no experience. I was the only one who had no idea what they were doing. So he taught like a couple basic things like shrimping and
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then we went into 10 rounds straight. Like I think we
Yep.
took one break, but we just kept switching around. And
10
honestly,
rounds of rolling. Yep.
it
Find a
was
new partner.
so
Get into
fun
it.
though. I
It's
loved
so
it.
fun. Oh yeah.
I was so sore in places I've never been sore in my life. Like it was crazy.
I will not forget the first day. Did you wore a gi or did you
No,
go no
we
gi?
went in. It was
You
just like
did. All
very
right.
normal.
So you know what the gi looks like, right? Though, right? So I remember my first ever jujitsu class. We did the same concept, right? You're I think we probably did 8 rounds of two and a half or 4 minute rolls. I don't know. It depended on the day. I don't remember what that first day was, but I literally went to leave the class. It was an hour long. And I went to go take my gi off and I could not open up. I couldn't get my arms past this point. I couldn't get it off. I had to have someone. I put my arms down by my side and I had the person I went with. I was like, "Yo, can you take my gi off? I can't open my chest." Cuz the whole time, especially when you're a beginner, you are literally cramped up in this ball of stress and isometric contractions that you've never felt before.
That's one of those things though, like where you're training sports specific and like typically you look at someone like that and be like, we need to open you up. But for
Yeah,
them, like maybe actually we should keep you like where you're at so that like you can do your sport because like you need to be able to stay down
100%.
and control people from that position. But you always see those rounded postures and fighters,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then
That's
you,
so true, right? And they have that they're here, but
yeah,
they're you can see their abs popping out for the simple fact that they're completely rounded in the thoracic spine, but they have the ability to open up. I mean, it's just they train that way so much that it's ingrained in their kinesthetic posture, and it's wild. They're subconscious, and it helped me. I was kind of quick to progress a little bit because of the fact that I do like animal flow and a lot of movements like that. So it helped me 100%, and it kind of came natural because I have no wrestling background whatsoever. I never did any sort of combat. I never did karate or martial arts or anything. But that was a whole new ball game, and I haven't been back since. Um, I went back after. I haven't been since I left that other gym I was at initially when I first moved here, because the owner of that gym uh, was the one who brought me to that facility to go train. So I was like, I don't know that I want to go back
yeah.
to jujitsu and see him there.
I know that things are different down in Florida, but are jiu-jitsu gyms even open right now? Where
Here, yes, yeah, um, yeah. Actually, that's a good point. Yes, they are because I've driven by a couple. Um, I'm not sure what the hell the restrictions would be on that. I don't know. I have
get a
no idea.
COVID test every single time you're about to
Yeah,
come. It's like,
yeah. I don't know. That's such a good point.
you can't
Because I
really no way around it. So
no, and I remember actually now that you say that, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast probably like 3 4 days ago, and he was talking about he hasn't done jits with somebody in so long. And he was like, I'm missing it, man. Like I used to. That's like that was his thing. That's his thing is BJJ. But it's crazy. I didn't even think about that because I drove by on Thursday night and I saw a jujitsu class going on.
they're doing it. That's why I said I know it's probably totally different in Florida than it is in Massachusetts, but
Yeah.
I
And
actually honestly don't know.
it's not like the Wild Wild West down here. Like you still have to wear a mask when you go into any place that's public, and
Right.
um, the couple of differences might be that I know people that are working out in Orange Theory up there, they have to wear their mask while they work out the entire time. Um, or in LA Fitness here, that same rule applies. But if you're the private facility, as soon as someone walks in, well, it depends on the county too that you live in. But as soon as someone walks in the gym and they are starting to participate, they don't have to wear the mask anymore.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
I think it's similar up here. Like if you're going to a big gym, then you have to keep your mask on at all times.
Yeah, the corporate, right?
Maintenance.
Corporate backing their ass up pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. And then for personal training, at least, I mean, I was working at a big gym, so it was just masks and that's it, no questions. But I know
Mhm.
that a lot of smaller places, because I have actually been working through like renting space from people when needed. So there's a local gym in Melrose that I just started working through, and they say, if you once you're in here, if you can keep your space, there's not going to be more than a couple people in here at once. So you can take it off, or just your client can take it off. But you know, wash your hands on the way in, and here's hand sanitizer. Make sure you wipe everything down, which you should be doing in a gym, anyways. So
Valid.
should not be touching dumbbells and then licking your fingers. So
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
much different.
Yep. Or eating kettlebells like the pup.
Like the dog, yeah. But
Yeah.
luckily she's immune.
Yeah. Like like I Am Legend, right? Dog.
Oh yeah.
The the things that you're gonna run into working through your own space. Have you guys tackled any of that? Have you guys looked into all of that?
Like,
Um,
in terms of what?
in terms of COVID and the restrictions of the legalities of having a waiver that cover all those different loose ends, because there's a lot of shit that goes into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, for that stuff, that's something that's like we talk about it, but it's not our priority right now because we're not, you know, right now we're just thinking get all our license, get the LLC established, get into the space, and then we're gonna have a whole bunch of business meetings covering that stuff. We were actually talking about, having opening a lease right now is kind of risky, but
Yeah.
maybe we can talk to them into, writing in something. But as far as you know, what the restrictions are now and might be later,
Hmm.
we're gonna kind of just have to roll with the punches because
Yeah.
it's likely to change. It's
So,
getting.
oh yeah, I mean, who knows what the hell's gonna happen tomorrow at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're trying to keep things kind of like now that we've figured this out, here's how we're going to do it. We're not going to totally shut things down. We're going to just make sure that we're being smart about it. But if people don't do it and it gets worse, they could change that. We could be forced to close, but
Go
we're
either
just
way.
trying to stay positive.
No, no, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason to fucking sit there and just like get yourself down on what might happen.
Exactly.
And if it is quote unquote negative, there's always something to be taken from it. I mean, if you looked at the first, week of the gym closing, you were like, fuck, 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 this is all bad. This is all bad. And now you're like, well, no, a lot of good things came out of this. And it all just takes time to see the horizon and how it's going to play out. In terms of, you know, everything that you have going on, what are you, how many clients are you trying to like service from a day-to-day basis? Because you're obviously working through a couple gyms, you're working, out in your own space if you have it, and you're working through virtual training as well. So like, what is your daily goal, I guess you could say?
Right now, it's a little all over the place, to be honest. So when I first came on my own, the idea actually, we were getting advice from a business coach who was saying like, no more in person, do everything online. Like this is the new whatever, you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
So we were like, that sounds kind of nice. Like you don't have to leave the house. If I want to travel, I can train from remote places, and like that sounds kind of cool. You're not locked down to any one area, but um, I miss the interaction. I need that part of training. Like I'm not ready to give that up yet.
Yeah.
So we kind of slowly went back into seeing whoever felt comfortable in person or had a space that, followed the guidelines. And then it kind of started to build into more heavy on the in-person people. But a typical day for me right now is kind of, most of my morning appointments are virtual. So I get up, bring the dog out, make breakfast, and then I sit down on my computer for a couple hours, do some virtual stuff. And then throughout the day, I'll have a couple appointments here and there that I see people, but I'm done by like 6, which is like beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Now that we're opening the space, we're going to have to shift our business to be more in person, because if we're going to be investing in this business, in this space, we need to make sure that it's worthwhile and that we're bringing in enough income, of course. So
True.
it's
100%.
going to be changing in the near future, but right now it's kind of more virtual because I haven't been, well, I have been, but I've been trying not to go overboard on like reaching out to people and saying like, open the space, like we can start in 2 months, because
Yeah.
what good is that if I don't have a space right now?
Yeah. Talk
Now,
about the now, right? Yeah. So, are you training a lot of people virtually that are like local to you and just don't want to be out in the world? Or are you actually seeking out clients that are not local and that's the only way you have to train them?
so as far as not local, most of those people come from Bark and they're doing programming,
Oh,
where the package, actually the way that I run it is, you choose, here's the fixed rate, choose how many days a week that you want to do, and you can choose a package where twice a month we meet virtually and just go over anything that you need to, or you can cut those video calls out if you don't want. And then there's constant communication through chat and commenting and leaving videos and getting video feedback.
yeah.
So
Just
there's,
like True Coach would work.
yeah, so there's still kind of communication there. Um, but the video call people are pretty local, actually. And a lot of them are just kind of, I'm not ready to be, like, they don't even leave their house. Like, they stay, like, they barely even grocery shop. And they just, that's what they're comfortable with right now. And everything I've talked to them about it, they're like, nowhere in the near future. I'm like, not
Yeah.
even, there was Dirty Water Fitness. Like, but
Not even at the newly established Dirty Water Fitness.
just got to be patient. Those people will come around because those are the long time OG clients that have been supporting me for a long
Yeah.
time. And, so I'm going to wait for them.
Yeah. Yeah. With my clients that have been tried and true for pretty much since I've been here in Florida, I always try to take care of them in some way and show appreciation in different ways and go a little above and beyond. Like gave a new workout shirt to one of my clients the other day, and she was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Thanks, I appreciate it." And he had no idea it was coming. It was just like, "Boom, here you go."
I'll have to get some gear so I can do that.
Yeah, valid. um, it goes a long way because there will be people that will stay with us for 15, 20 years. Like there will be those people. And it's funny how those relationships just kind of like they slowly just kind of progress and get more comfortable and more involved, and then all of a sudden you like hear them and they start talking personal life, and then they're like in their own element. Or like a couple people now that I like train at their house, right? They're I just so much more of them has come out now that I go and like train them in their garage than like before when I would just train them at the gym. So different.
Yeah, I have
So
one client who I go to her house, and she's got 2 kids. They're 2.5 years old twins and a big dog. And we train in her, like, their playroom.
yeah.
And it's just like chaos because, like, but
Oh
I'm immersed in her life, and I see, like, she's like,
yeah.
the only way I'm gonna get it done is if you're here telling me to do it, and this is why. And like, she's honestly the nicest woman. Like, she's always like, we talk about personal things. We know each other really well at this
Yeah.
point, and she would say like, oh, well, I have something for you in the basement, and then we just try to kind of
Mm.
connect into each other's lives that way. But it's crazy. Yeah, like I'm like involved in her personal life.
Yeah.
Just come into the room with a snack and they put it down. I see the dog's about to go eat it. I pick it up, and
Yeah.
I'm communicating with them as I am with her. And
No, that's funny. When I train them in their garage, they have 2 dogs, and I'm literally like, the goal is to tell them what to do, then control the dogs and like watch them so that if they're on the ground
Yeah.
doing an exercise, the dogs aren't like all over them at the same time. It's great.
I
It's
don't
so
know if this is a thing for you, but I've found amongst myself and many other trainer friends is that like we learn all this new content. We're staying up on the research.
Mhm.
We have all, but we just can't remember how to count. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I can't figure out how to count. And like honestly, I've had so many trainers tell me that because like you overhear them with their clients and they're like, okay, one more, and they're like, we have two more. Like, what are you talking about? It's crap is constantly, and you're like, you know what? Well, would you rather me cue your movements
Yeah.
or have the right count? Because honestly, that's not it.
So true. It
But
is so true. I am so bad with that. Well, I didn't train. I had someone else train. Guy I usually train on Friday mornings. Someone else trained him last Friday morning, and I went back and talked to him 2 days ago, right? Because it was 9 days ago I trained him. 2 days ago I didn't train him 9 days ago. I trained him 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, how'd it go with the person that had filled in? And he goes, oh, it was good. I was just sharing with him how amazing your accounting skills are, and how you're always right on point. I was like, oh, great, great. I'm glad that's the word that's getting around.
you're
I'm
on the
right on
same page.
par.
I
Yeah.
know I still haven't met a trainer who doesn't agree with me then.
No, nope. And
It's hard. It's
my
hard.
sister will
That's
say the same
talking.
thing. Yeah, you got to talk. You got to watch what they're doing. You're trying to think about, okay, if that's happening, then I got to tell them to switch this, or I got to cue them on that.
Going the whole time.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, 7? No, that was 9. Okay, sounds good.
Say like,
Keep
how
going.
come you always say two more? And I'm like,
Yeah, it's a safe bet. It's a
I'm like,
really
hey,
safe
listen, this
bet.
isn't about the number of reps. It's about how many you can do with good
Yeah,
form. I
yeah.
was like,
That
so yeah, you did two extra, but I guess you should have been doing two extra the whole time. So you're welcome.
do you. So I find myself 80% of the time basically telling people this is the exercise and not telling them how many reps for a reason.
Yep.
And I wait until they're going, and then based on, okay, it looks like
Body
this is,
language.
yeah, yep. Then I say something like, okay, give me one more, or blah, blah, blah. But then I have the clients who like, I try to get away with it. I'm like, all right,
No,
this is
though.
what
You
you're going
need
to
to
do.
know.
And like, they're about to start, and they're like, how many? Whoa, geez, all right, do 12.
You find like people on both opposite ends of that spectrum. There's some that are like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Just tell me
Yeah,
when to stop. And then there's some people that'll just be like, can't do it unless I know how many I have left.
yeah,
Okay, all right, here you go. But sometimes for them, I'll just say like, all right. And you just explain the basic principles of like RPE and say like,
yeah.
I want you to stay in this rep range,
Mm-hmm.
but I want it to be challenging, but I don't want you to break your form. But if you say get to the end of this rep range and you say, Sarah, I could have done like 6 more, then we have to change the weight, change the exercise, make some modifications. So no,
Make
I
it
don't have an exact amount of reps, and that's why. But if you want to be let in on the secrets, I'm happy to explain it with you.
yeah, educate the clients if they're down to learn. But most of them, I feel like, just want to be heard,
Absolutely.
and they just want to move and sweat. And it's really mental more than anything for the most part. With that being said, do you pre-program like the exercises you're going to do with your clients? Do you keep a running, like your in-person clients? Obviously, with someone that is literally only coming to you for programming, it's a little
They get
different.
programming, yes.
Yeah. But like the people that you're training virtually or the people that you're training in person, um, when they get there, you know what you're doing with them that day.
Yeah, so most of them, depending on how many days a week that I see them, or if we work on what we do together and what we do apart, some people we really only want to deal with it when they're in their session. Some people want homework, For my virtual people, I usually have, a general plan for what they're going to be doing for the next month or so.
Okay.
But, as you go, you have to make changes. So you don't want to be planned too far ahead.
Yeah,
But
don't
those people, I always have like a notebook next to me where I'm taking notes and figuring out what we need to make change for next time. But when we're in person, I don't know, I don't sit there with a notebook. I don't have like a clipboard. And then, sometimes I bring the iPad, but a lot of it ends up being, I come into it with a plan and then I take notes later. It's like your soap notes when you're
yeah, exactly. It's
you do it off your brain and then you
yeah.
figure it out later. But it really depends on the client, because sometimes you have people who they need to know what and why and like how they're doing it, and that's what works for them. There's some people who, like you said, they just need to come in and they need to sweat. Like they're only seeing you once a week or once every other week. So there's not really much structure to it. It's more or less like, here's what we're going to do today. If you have any questions or things that you specifically want to work on, then we can do that. But if not, then we're just going to go by this plan that I have for you today.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That makes sense. What is your favorite piece of equipment?
Like gym equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was thinking like virtual stuff. Favorite piece of equipment, you can't let go of the barbell. I'm not pushy, but I really like people to try the barbell because, so I'm a woman and I have a lot of female clients who are very intimidated by those things. And if you have the appropriate equipment to work up to a barbell, starting lower and then practicing those movements, if they're comfortable with it, a lot of times that's something that's very intimidating for them. And I just
But
love seeing how happy they get when they like find out that they actually can do it. Like I
yeah.
used to do boot camp, which, you get general pop, you get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always put the gigantic tire in for the class. And people would be like, I can't flip that tire. And I was like, I bet you can. We're gonna try it today. And then they do it and they're like, wow, like I didn't think I could flip a tire. That's crazy. And I was like, don't underestimate yourself. And then, you get to show people that they're capable of a lot more than they thought.
Yeah, and then they get that feel good, that dopamine hit, and then they go home, they tell their husband, their wife, their son, their brother, whatever it may be, and they're excited. No, that's a good point.
But I guess for those who don't go into the world of the barbells or have no interest in those types of lifts, another favorite, I guess, category of equipment, anything that you can slam, because battle ropes, med ball, like anything that you can slam, I found that anybody loves that. It's just like, it's cathartic. It's like a release. Whatever.
Big word there.
That's what exercise is. It's like you're taking whatever's stressing you out and you're feeling pain, but in a good way. And sometimes throwing a ball at the ground
gets it done.
Yeah. I've never met somebody who hates, like everybody is always like so in love with those exercises. So they're almost like a treat when you put them in.
So true. And then there's obviously like the people that we have that obviously cannot go near a barbell, cannot do some sort of slam, have orthopedic limitations and injuries, and that's where I feel like that athletic training background separates us, our ability to triage those people and actually do right by them before they have to go from doctor to doctor and diagnosis to diagnosis and personal trainer to personal trainer to group class. And
you can never squat again. You can never run again. Don't ever do a lunge in your life. And
don't twist. Yeah.
Those
Whatever
people,
you do, don't bend over and pick anything up for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You have a herniation at L4, L5, just like 80% of the United States population.
Seriously. It's sad how many people come in and like, you go through those initial movement screenings or like your first couple sessions and they're telling you all these things like that they cannot do. I'm like, listen, we don't have to do that today, but you can. So you just have to, put it back into their comfort zone. I mean, there is a certain amount of like, yes, you can't do it right now, but
valid. Yeah, right now it would be totally way more detrimental to you than it would be beneficial. And like, I'm not blind to that fact. But if if right now stretching, your hamstrings, right, is not going to be beneficial for you, a whole rabbit hole we could go down. Right? But like if someone says, my someone told me not to stretch my hamstring. Okay, well, uh, so I can't touch my toes. Okay, I get that, but in like a month, we're gonna have to see if like you can touch your toes, and I'm not gonna like sit there and forcefully push your head down to your knees and make you touch your toes. I'm just gonna ask you to do it and see how it feels. And like people get so caught up in the I can't. I was told not to. I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to. It's like, listen, if you came here to try to get over those things, but you're lingering them around what you're capable of so much. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
We don't want a limited theory. We want a limitless
No, no limited theory. I get that. It's a lot of laziness on other professionals' parts that,
Valid. Lack of education.
yeah, yeah.
And the school system, we know, just needs to teach us what we have before we learn all these other not as useful skills or tool sets.
Mhm.
Whatever. It'll happen eventually.
Now, there's a lot more people on this boat now that
A
are
100%. And
looking.
it's because we're rowing one at a time.
Telling you, Instagram's full of these posts, that I'm like, I feel like I used to see a lot of things on Instagram that would like make me really sad.
Yeah.
And now like I'm starting to find people, and I don't know if it's just the algorithms that are bringing me to this better content, but like I see these things and I'm like, okay, like these ideas are spreading, we're making progress. We're gonna have a whole new generation of old people that like can move, and it's gonna be really
Yeah.
cool.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
climbing
One
trees
of
and
the
like,
things is like
yeah.
older people, especially older women coming up in these next few generations, are going to be in a lot better shape, because you think like female sports weren't even a thing, like when a lot of the people who are older now,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it has to be limited to just female
No.
women's stuff. Like there's so much more information out there now, and then people who blow out their ACL don't get like fully casted leg anymore, so they can make much better recoveries and live and to be more mobile for the rest of their life.
Their
So
lives. No, that's so true. I mean, it's all moving in the right direction. It's just a matter of balancing and figuring out, fine tuning without it becoming too systematic and run by the wrong, you know, moral compass, I guess you could say.
yeah.
In terms of outside of everything that you're doing for other people, is there anything that you follow in terms of content that doesn't have to do with fitness? Like, are you reading books? Are you podcasting? Are you watching any shows or documentary? Like, what is that side of your life like?
Outside of fitness, or it's fitness related?
Outside of fitness.
Oh god, I don't know. I don't really do like very productive things. I was reading some books over the summer that had to do with like business books, because of our,
Yeah,
which is technically still related to fitness, but outside of what I
yeah,
know.
it's a little different. Yeah.
Um, Podcast.
What books?
One of them, I forget what it's called. I'm pretty sure it has an explicit title, but I
It's perfectly fine.
can't remember what it was called. But we have a whole lot of sales books that are just like sales 101 and basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of them was Never Split the Difference, which was um,
Mm.
a cool, like almost like negotiating type
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was more like self-empowering to just do what it is that you want to do without the limitations of others, which that was the one that I can't think of the title of, that I know is,
Okay.
what's it? It's over there. I just can't read it from here. I was trying to.
Need binoculars. um, with all that being said, do you have any questions for me?
Questions, or like just general?
Anything?
I'm the interviewer now.
Yeah. It's always time. It's always got to be give and take.
Well, I mean, I haven't really talked to you since this, gravity and oxygen fitness. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
And you're a manager now?
I am.
Okay, well, tell me more about your manager stuff because it's probably useful information for us.
Okay. So the last time, so I mean, I'll break it the timeline down pretty simply. In um pretty much actually a year to date, November 15th last year
Oh, wow.
was my first day. Was my first day at Gravity and Oxygen. And then like I left the other gym entirely by then. Um, got there and was taking over a client book from someone who was leaving. Um, and stepped in as well, teaching one group class a week. And I went there and basically said, listen, I have a lot of other things going on outside of here. I don't want to do this, that, and next. I don't want to be fully like, stuck to this place. Um, and then the one of the co-owners left. One of the longtime trainers was switching, was going into different schooling, so he had to leave. And then, like I said, then the co-owner left, and then one of the other group instructors and managers left, and then all of a sudden quarantine hit, and um, I ended up getting my sister doing some front desk hours there while she was training to get her personal training certification. And then it came time to basically figure out what we were going to do for quarantine, which was like, okay, our only real option is that we still service the people that are paying us by having online group classes. So
That's
we
right.
broadcasted for 60 straight or 55 straight days. There was like 3 or 4 of us that would go to the gym, and we would basically, one person was the camera person, one person was the group instructor, and the other person was kind of like the background exercise model. And then basically over the course of that, um, Haley and I were there every single day, and we were basically the production team for getting those workouts out.
Okay.
So Haley was like, all right, I guess it's kind of time for me to leave the industry that I'm in now. And then I was doing so much on the back end from like social media standpoint to like ordering stuff because we were just trying to get through. And I was dedicated to do it and make it happen. So then it kind of like walking back out of that was, he was like, well, I mean, you're pretty much doing all of that stuff now. So it basically turns into, now Haley's the general manager. I'm the assistant manager. We both have our own tasks. I do with one of the other coaches or one of the other managers. Um, she's kind of on the management team. We do programming together. So we program all of the group classes for the month. I teach 2 group classes. At one point, I was teaching like 5 group classes a week. I'm still doing all my personal training hours there. If we don't have someone to cover the front desk, stay and cover the front desk kind of thing and make sure those things are done. I do everything on the back end from like the social media standpoint. So I no longer edit these podcasts. I no longer do a lot of the stuff for myself for Limitless Theory. My website is ran by my good friend Kevin, who will be watching this and listening and editing to it.
Hi, Kevin.
And and he does a great job. He does all the podcasts. He gets them out. He does my YouTube. He does my website. But now on the back end for Gravity and Oxygen, I run the website. I edit the website. I do all that stuff.
And
I What'd you say?
you got people now.
Yeah. um, just one really awesome person, not multiple people.
Yeah.
And I post all the I edit all the videos for Gravity and Oxygen. I post those to YouTube. I post those on Facebook. I'm in charge of that Instagram for the most part. So I really like took over all that stuff. And now we're moving forward, and that's kind of the ball game. Is we have the owner Paul, who is like the athletic training background. He went to UCF, and I think I told you about him before.
Yeah.
And then Haley's the general manager, and then I'm the assistant manager and doing
Family business.
stuff. So yeah, yeah. So it's on the back end. You definitely do learn and see a lot of other things, and that's why I was willing to do that, and I'm willing to continue to learn and facilitate as much as I can for the gym, because there's a lot to be learned um, from that backside, I guess you could say.
Personal trainer is always having to continue learning.
Yes.
You don't get to just
Never.
skip the knowledge you have. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I remember when you were doing those videos, and I think I stole a couple exercises from you for my clients. I was like, "Got it. Nice." It was definitely very well done, like production wise, because
Well, thank you. It was last minute thrown together. We just kind of made it work, and I think that's the biggest thing that we've all taken from COVID is pretty much that the rug can be swept out from under you, and you have to roll with the punches. And if anything, it's made us a little tougher in this industry, is in terms of you got to fight. If you want to eat, you got to make something happen. You got to go hunt. So
a lot of work.
yeah, without a doubt, it's a lot of sticky notes with crossouts.
A whole notebook, like there's like not really much organization to it. It's just flip through until you find the thing you're looking for.
Yep.
Everything is down everywhere.
100%. 100%. You know who I almost want to reach out to and get on the podcast?
Oh.
Ron. I want to get Ron.
I was talking about Ron the other day. I don't remember why. Oh, because Joe went to UMass Boston.
Okay.
And he had Jamie
Oh,
as
no way.
for strength and conditioning, and I was like, "What?" And then she was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, but she didn't do the lab or something." And I was like, "Oh, well, she only did our lab." And then I was thinking like, "Oh yeah," and I was telling him all about Ron, this character of,
mm-hmm.
I mean, for me and you, I'd say like more than, I mean, I guess not, but me and you, I feel like kind of look up to Ron in a different way because of where we went with our careers. So
Yeah, for sure.
definitely has a, I think that if we didn't already think this way already, that we adopted kind of his way of thinking. And
I went to him so much regarding like what I should be doing for like certification wise junior year. I was always keeping in contact with him. I would go to his office and talk to him. Yeah, he did a lot for me. He was awesome.
I was taking his class when I was working at Get in Shape for Women, so we had plenty to talk about. So
Yeah.
like, this is what we have to do. And
It's
like,
actually, I feel like it was us three staying after me, you, and him would talk after class pretty often. And then he taught the nutrition class too. And so I would always stay and talk with him after that, because that obviously became a huge interest and thing for me. Yeah.
you have to make up your minutes that you were late. You have to stay a little,
Yeah. I was always willing to stay after. I just wasn't willing to get there at 9:30 for a 9:30 class.
Not willing to rush your breakfast. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes. I mean, it's scientifically proven that when you eat under stress, you don't digest or absorb the amount of nutrients and at the efficiency that you normally would. So I'm just, I was staying up to date with educational nutrition research, and they were just, trying to hate.
Sleeping.
That's pretty much what it came down to.
I'm with you. I joined the Dylan train towards the end of college.
Yeah.
They were like, "Sara, what are you doing?"
It was pretty much me, you, Leah, and Ray. We were always late. We were always late. It was us four. That's weird. Have you talked to or stayed in contact with anybody? You talked to Sam or
Gina.
Gina?
I haven't talked to any of them much, but say like happy birthday.
Yeah,
Something that we should probably do. I mean, we still have that group message, Nikki's Angels.
true.
The text in there, like, what's going on, guys?
That was, I think that was the first ever group chat that I put the do not disturb on.
It's just I'm somebody who doesn't like notifications anyways, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can't stand if my phone's just going off constantly. It's not
Ding,
anything
ding, ding,
personal.
ding.
I'll catch up later. Like I need to.
Yeah,
Like, same reason I'm not posting on Instagram. I just can't keep up with it. I mean, I try to look into the Instagram, the way that it works and their algorithms and stuff, and they say like you need to be most active like the 15 minutes after you make your post, and you need to comment back and interact with people, and then it pushes you to the top of the feed if you do
yeah.
that. Like I just couldn't. Like I'd spend so much time making the post that I put my phone down and be like, done. I'm not looking
Exactly.
at my phone for like another hour. I need to just like decompress now.
I pretty much open Instagram, post, put it down, don't look at it until there's like a bunch of freaking notifications built up. Because I don't have them pop up on my notification center or on the outside of my phone. If my phone's down, I'm not getting notifications unless it's a text message or a call. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, but that makes sense. I guess the whole 15 minutes after you post thing.
Just getting anybody to click on anything, like even in your stories, like putting those little voting polls and stuff like that. Getting interactions is what it's all about. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm too busy out here interacting with people.
For real, like in person, yeah.
But
I got a dog to
I
tend
don't
to.
undervalue the people. The value of the connections that you make online are good too,
Oh,
because
for sure.
you can't just limit
Um,
those
have you
little
watched
connections.
the social dilemma? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably talking like pulling stuff from it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it like a couple months ago or
We're
whenever.
gonna get a watch. I'm gonna get an ad for True Coach when I open up my Instagram.
It's scary. It's scary, dude. And you know what? Has it ever happened to like somebody who's even like who someone else who's close to you gets an ad that has to do with you?
Yeah,
And you're
100%.
like, what the heck?
Yep. It's so crazy. You never know. So I want to kind of end with having you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you, and how they may be able to get in contact with you, anything along those lines. What to look out for in the future with Dirty Water Fitness.
Yeah, Dirty Water Fitness, like I said, still very early, and like we don't have a website or email addresses for that yet. But for right now, I guess my best contact is through my Instagram, which is at Coach Krennis. But and then my email address, which is Krennis99 at Gmail. So all you got to remember is that Krennis.
Krennis, and it's with a C. Crennis. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
and
so
then
people
eventually
aren't
we'll
putting
have some more modes of communication.
Krennis with a K.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah. So when we'll have to re-catch up and do another one of these when everything's up and going for you with that, because that'll be cool to catch up on and see. You'll obviously be pretty inundated and busy for the first like 2 months.
It's already
You'll
been.
you'll be underwater fitness for the first 2 months.
I'm stealing that joke. I'm gonna claim
Yeah.
that. I'm just kidding. I'll give you some credit.
Cool.
Yeah, we
Well,
should have more established by then.
yeah, that'll be cool. Well,
Well,
best of luck with all of it. I mean, I'm sure you guys are doing your due diligence of making sure you don't get caught up or wrapped up in the wrong way with anything, and you go into it level-headed with a good relationship and a good compass between the four of you, because obviously you want all things to be good more often than not, and things to continue to stay that way no matter how many different branches come from opening up and doing that. So that'll be cool.
yeah,
Um,
Everything's good right now. We are keeping, decisions are made unanimously and subject for change later if we add in more people.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good way to go about it.
Still
But
very,
definitely keep in contact. Let me know how all that's going. I'll check in on you every once in a while.
I'll send you a free shirt once we make them since I still have your limitless theory
I'm
t-shirt.
going to, uh, speaking of which, what size can I send you? I'm going to send you another one.
But like a t-shirt,
Yeah. A
like
t-shirt, or we can do a tank top. Or you know what? Better yet, look at my store and tell me which one you want.
I'll do that.
Bam. All right.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Sarah, thanks for coming on and speaking and talking and catching up. It's been good. As
Been
usual,
long.
we kind of pick up where we left off, which is just, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
You vibe with someone when
You
that's
haven't talked in so long, but
yeah,
nothing's weird. Yeah.
that's the simplicity of it. So,
Absolutely.
she's good people. Definitely go check her out. Stay tuned if you're in the Cambridge, Somerville,
Just Boston area.
yeah, if you're in that part of New England, you're close enough.
I'll drive a
So
plane for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Be on the lookout, and until next time, as always, be limitless. Peace. What's up, LT Tribe? DFOS here, just to express my gratitude and say thank you for tuning in and continuously commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the episodes and the content that we are bringing you. It is helping so much. Once again, want to say thank you and hope you have a great rest of your day. Shout out to all my fellow athletes and health enthusiasts out there. Did you know that your typical average pill or capsule based vitamin or supplement takes anywhere from 48 to 72 hours to actually be broken down in your stomach and begin to get digested? And upon digestion, about 70% of what is on the label is going to be utilized by the body. So stop wasting your time and money on basic everyday vitamins. It's time that you start to understand the science behind it, and it's time that I introduce you guys to Isotonics. Isotonics brings to you the world's most advanced nutraceuticals. They are taking science to a whole nother level when it comes to vitamins and supplementation. A true holistic approach. Iso means same and tonic means pressure. So these isotonic vitamins, which are powders that you mix with water, are going to be recognized by the body as blood, sweat, or tears. And when you digest them, they get bypassed through the stomach straight into the small intestine, so absorption can begin in less than 5 minutes. On an empty stomach, 90% of what is on the nutrition label can be absorbed in just under 30 minutes. It's something that is unprecedented and unmatched in the industry. You cannot feel the difference with vitamins like you can feel the difference with isotonics. So the delivery matters. And to give you guys proof, I want you to be able to check out and learn for yourself and experience it yourself. Feel that isotonics difference. So head over to shop.com or isotonics.com/limitless theory and check out all of the amazing isotonics vitamins and supplements that you can get your hands on, and get 10% off your first order using code 10OFFMA, 10OFFMA, all capitalized, at checkout for 10% off. And just know, when you start to buy isotonics on a regular basis, not only will you get 10% off your first order and additional orders in the future, you will also get 2% cash back on anything you spend, and If you put it on auto ship, you can save an additional 5% on every order. The opportunities are endless and the difference is felt. So make sure to go get yourself some isotonics and start to feel the difference for yourself. DFOS here. I know y'all understand how much of a nutrition freak I am. And when I heard the world's most nutrient-dense food, I had to tune in, listen, and get learnt. So I need y'all to check out the LT360 podcast I did with Catherine Arnston, the founder of Energy Bits, an algae-based nutrition company. It is not a supplement. It is a one-ingredient superfood, and it is recognized as the most nutrient-dense food on the planet by the World Health Organization and others. So go check out energybits.com and make sure to use the discount code LimitlessTheory at checkout for 20% off. You will not be disappointed because you will have the most nutrient-dense food in your pantry in the world. Go check it out now. Peace. DFOS here with another important sponsor. This one is awesome. It is a way to get high quality meat delivered straight to your door by Bristelli's Meat Market. It was established in 1976. They are now a global leader in the highest quality meat. And it is awesome. If you are an unfranchised owner like myself, you can earn anywhere from 22 to 27.5% IBV on your orders. And if you are a customer through shop.com/limitlesstheory, you can also earn cash back every time you buy your high quality meats for you and your family. Not only can you get filet mignon and burgers and chicken, but you can also get salmon and tuna and shrimp and even a combination of regular meat and seafood. So make sure to check out Bristelli's, but most of all, check out shop.com/limitlesstheory to learn more. These times there's one thing that we can count on to keep us connected, and that is the one and only video conferencing platform, Zoom. Zoom is an amazing platform. It's the very platform that I use to record the visual portion of the LT360 podcast. I also used it today to share a business plan and stay connected with someone that wanted to learn more about products and services that we offer. And I also used it to train a virtual personal training client this morning. It is virtually simplistic, very simplistic. Anybody can use it, and we just scored an amazing deal. As unfranchised owners, you can get the $160 valued membership through Zoom for just $9.99 per month. Instead of paying $160 per month for unlimited recording access and storage and tons of other features, you can pay $9.99 per month and save nearly $1,800 per month. You best believe it. I signed up, I created and transferred my account over to this pro account, and I will not be looking back, because that $9.99 per month that I'm paying also comes with a residual 15% IBV commissions. Each and every month that I pay out $9.99, I'm getting 15% commissions on that in the form of IBV, and I cannot think of an easier and better way to stay connected with my team and help my team get paid. So make sure you head over to your back office, go to my account, go to my services, and look up Zoom video conferencing. You will not be disappointed. Let's all use Zoom to help us stay connected and get financially fit together.